Well, happy NBA Finals, ladies and gentlemen. The 2021 edition, Game 1 between the Milwaukee Bucks and Phoenix Suns is tonight. I thought it'd be a great idea to rank the 10 best players in this series. We're going from 10 to 1 between the Bucks and Suns. We're not going to double take this one. I got my phone in my hand, but the only thing on my phone is the 10 names, just in case I forget the order. All the information is straight off the top of the dome. Is coming from your boy. We ain't doing no double takes. We're giving this a go once, and that is it, all right? 10 best players, Milwaukee Bucks, Phoenix Suns, NBA Finals. Let's get right into it. At number 10, I'm going with the big fella for Milwaukee, Brook Lopez. If I would have did this list a week ago, Brook Lopez would have not made the cut. But give Brook a lot of credit. Ever since Giannis has went down with injury, Brook has stepped up. He's cutting more than I've ever seen him cut in his career. He's attacking the rim with some ferocity that I hadn't seen present in Lopez in years. Give Brook Lopez some credit. If he's going to play inside versus playing outside, he could be a huge X factor in this series. Clear as day, the second best center we got in this series. At number 9, what up, Memphis? I'm going to give that title to Cameron Payne. Be clear, Cam Payne was a laughingstock of the city of Memphis. No one understood why the OKC Thunder drafted this dude in the lottery a few years ago. But give Cam Payne all the credit in the world. He went and locked back into a gym with his former trainer. And what I love about Cam as a backup point guard to Chris Paul is he doesn't take a single moment of the game of basketball for granted. Every dribble that he's got, he's taking the ultimate advantage of it and cherishing the rock because the game was taken away from him a couple years ago. He ended up overseas. I love what Cam is doing. A completely different style of what Chris Paul is trying to do. Chris wants to slow it down, run the offense, get guys looks. Cam wants to push the basketball, and Phoenix has responded well to their guy being a great backup point guard in Phoenix. He's earned himself a couple extra dollars this offseason. At number 8, I want to keep it in Phoenix, and I want to show some love to Mikal Bridges. I like Mikal a lot. He struggled in that last series against the Clippers throughout it, but his confidence never wavered. He's got some slept-on bunnies, and he can obviously knock down that corner three, which is obviously one of the biggest assets to have on a team. I think Mikal Bridges will be a lot better. Don't be surprised if this dude messes around and has a Danny Green, Ray Allen-like impact on the NBA Finals this year, plus the explosion at the rim, and his defense will be pivotal as well. He'll likely have the responsibility of guarding Drew, Middleton a lot in this series. So Mikal's number 8 for me. We're still staying with Phoenix as we get to number 7. Congratulations to Jay Crowder, back-to-back NBA Finals. I thought Crowder did a number on Giannis Antetokounmpo last year when he played in Miami in the second round in the bubble. And if Giannis makes a sighting in this series, which we do expect, I'll get into that in a second, obviously Crowder will have the responsibility of guarding Giannis. Now, here's the thing with Jay. What will Jay's responsibility be when Giannis is not out there? Can he carve out a niche on the offensive end? He, like Bridges, struggled a lot in that last series against the Clippers. Him knocking down that three-point shot is pivotal. He's one of the vocal leaders of that young Phoenix team, and if he's got it rolling, more times than not, everybody on that Suns team's got it going. At number 6, we're still staying in Phoenix, man. He's showing a lot of love to the Suns. DeAndre Ayton. This dude is not a bust as a former number 1 overall pick. He is for real. Chris Paul has brought all the greatness out of this big fella. To me, he's the best big in the series. His ability to not only control the painted area, but he can knock down that mid-range jump shot. And I think the Giant will be awoken for his first finals appearance because, look, let's call it spade a spade. Ayton knows what I knows. All the criticism that he's got toward his game over his first few years in the league, if he becomes a champion before the age of 24, like all that criticism's got to get put to the side. You got to give the big fella some credit. And Ayton has all the capabilities of not only scoring the rock, but keeping Drew Holiday out of the lane, which was a big factor in the Bucks win against the Hawks. So his defense, I feel like for Ayton, will be a big factor. Keep this thing moving. At number 5, speaking of Drew Holiday was incredible. And I know Chris Middleton will get the credit for his big-time third quarter in Game 6 against Atlanta. But Holiday not only gave you points, but he gave you 9 rebounds and 9 assists. Outside of that third quarter, Jrue Holiday was the best player for the Milwaukee Bucks in Game 6. He's the guy that can do pretty much anything you need him to do. He can defend your other team's best perimeter player. He can rebound the basketball. He can score when he wants to. More than anything, it's about Holiday's aggression. He's going to have to put some pressure on Chris Paul. I feel like one of the things that has helped Phoenix out more than anything is point guards are not attacking Chris Paul enough. You got to make a Hall of Fame point guard, first ballot, think about playing defense. The way you impact his offense is to keep yourself on his mind while CP3 is playing defense. Holiday's got the skills to do that. His ability to get to the rim, his ability to create fouls on defenders, his ability to switch in midair. He's got some explosion to him. Holiday is the real deal. It feels like everybody knows it but him sometimes. I look for him to be an X factor for Milwaukee if they want to get one of these 2 games, which will likely happen without their MVP and Giannis. At number 4, I'm going to show some love to Devin Booker. I'm not the biggest on Devin Booker. I think he's a little overrated, but I got to be fair to the brother. He can get a bucket from anywhere on the court. His arsenal of moves is incredible. He could get you a 3-pointer up in any given possession. He can get a mid-range jumper shot up at any given possession. He can get to the rim. He can attack the rim. You know, I like Devin Booker's game. I just feel like in the biggest moments, he kind of folds. Couple bad shooting games against the Clippers. He started that series out strong, but kind of faded, and it became more about Chris Paul down the stretch than it did Devin Booker. Booker's the one entering his prime. You know, this is an opportunity for him to put himself over the Jason Tatums of the world, the Donovan Mitchells of the world. They're all at home. Booker's in the NBA Finals competing for a championship right now. You can't erase rings, and this would be a big one on Booker's legacy, as I'm sure he wants to become the greatest version of himself. Booker's ability to score the rock. Can you give me 30 points? Watch this on less than 20 shots, I think will be a pivotal role for Phoenix if they want to win this series. At number 3, I'm going with Chris Middleton. I'll get a little bit of pushback of putting Middleton over Booker, but I believe Middleton's an overall better player. I think he's a more disciplined player. I think he's just an overall sound player. Look, Middleton stepped up and dropped plus 20 points 2 times against the Atlanta Hawks. Many would argue that those were the 2 most important quarters of that series in which Middleton dominated both. You know, people oftentimes compare Booker to Kobe Bryant, which I think is ridiculous. I don't think Middleton plays like Kobe, be clear, but Middleton has Kobe-like quarters when he's clearly the most important player on the court and he's on fire. He's the microwave if he was playing NBA 2K. Chris Middleton can get you a bucket. Sometimes, like Holiday, he goes through those stretches where everybody knows he's a walking bucket but himself. I think with him having to be the number 1 option offensively for Milwaukee more times than not, with no Giannis in games 1 and games 2, has brought out the best of him, and hopefully that continues if you're a Milwaukee fan. If this dude can get you 15 points in any quarter, he's the spark plug that just energizes that entire Milwaukee's team even more than Giannis oftentimes. Look for Middleton's aggression to be an X factor also for the Milwaukee Bucks. At number 2, we're expecting the big fella to make an appearance at some point. We just don't know when. My expectation is Milwaukee's MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo will probably give it a go game 3 when the series shifts from Phoenix to Milwaukee. We know what Giannis is. He's a walking 30 points and 15 boards. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Giannis over the last few days disrespectfully. I know Milwaukee went out and took care of business against Atlanta without the services of the Greek Freak towards the end of that series. But be clear, Phoenix ain't Atlanta. Them boys is for real in Arizona. And you're going to need Giannis if you want to win a championship in this series. Giannis can dominate Phoenix. As a matter of fact, in the regular season, he averaged 40 against Phoenix. Now, Phoenix won both of those games, but Milwaukee, they got a man-child. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're going to need him. The Greek Freak, there's really no matchup for him. Again, outside of Jay Crowder, if Giannis can put Crowder in foul trouble, there's no matchup for him on Phoenix's ball club. Again, when Crowder was in Miami, he had some help. He had a Bam Adebayo. He had a Jimmy Butler. I don't believe Crowder can do to Giannis what he did last year in the bubble, by himself. But we're also hoping that Giannis is better than 75-80%. I don't know what his knee's like right now. We shall see. But obviously the Greek Freak knows what's at stake. If he gets a championship, he automatically, to me, becomes the best player in the league. He becomes the Shaq of this era. His ring will be as impressive as pretty much any ring we've seen over the last decade as of change because of the way he's done it. When there was an opportunity for him to become a free agent, he could have become a free agent 2 weeks from now. Leave Milwaukee. He said, no, I'm not going to put the Bucks through this. They believed in me when nobody else did. I'm going to re-up a year early. If Giannis gets a ring with Milwaukee this season, as he opted to re-up before free agency started, how can you not say behind Dirk Nowitzki is the most impressive ring we've seen in 12, 13 years? He doubled down on loyalty with his franchise, and he's trying to reward them, and Milwaukee's obviously trying to reward him with his first championship. Speaking of what's at stake, number one in this series for me, no ifs, ands, and buts about it, the best player in this series is Chris Paul. I know Chris is older than Giannis. I know Chris is nowhere near the athlete that Giannis is at this point in time, actually ever. But be clear, in today's NBA, if you can knock down a jumper, you're the most important. And Chris Paul can do that as good as anyone in this series. I know Devin Booker's got any capability of knocking down any shot on the court, but Chris Paul shows it more. Chris Paul's a first ballot Hall of Famer for a reason. This dude is real deal Holyfield. You saw him close out the Clippers in that incredible Game 6 setting and against his former team. He went brazy in the third and fourth quarter of that basketball game. Chris Paul knows what's at stake. His legacy depends on an NBA championship. It's as simple as this. You win, you're automatically a top 5 point guard all time. If you lose, with Giannis missing games 1 and games 2, I love Chris Paul. He's my favorite point guard to watch all time, but I can't go to war for a loss against Milwaukee this year. Everything has worked out in Chris Paul's favor for once. This dude's legacy up until this point has been injury in the postseason, injury in Game 5. Houston loses Game 6, Game 7. Injury with the Clippers. The Clippers go on to lose. For the first time in his career, the injury bug has actually worked out in CP3's favor. Everything has worked out. From Anthony Davis going down in round number 1 to Jamal Murray obviously being out for the Nuggets in round 2. Round 3, Kawhi is not available. And here we are in the NBA Finals where Giannis is out games 1 and games 2. It is a match made in heaven for Chris Paul to climb the top of the mountain and finally win his first NBA championship. He better get it done. It is simple as that. He better get it done. He's the best mid-range jump shooter in the history at the point guard position, in my opinion. He can knock down any shot on the court. He's a great free throw shooter. The way he controls the pace is second to none. One of the best I've ever seen. All he needs is a championship to validate it, and that is my top 10 of players in this series, man. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about my list. I like my list, man. I thought I did a good job here. Lopez at 10, Payne at 9, Bridges at 8, Crowder 7, 8 and 6, Holiday 5, Booker 4, Middleton 3, Giannis 2, and the great Chris Paul at number 1. Y'all let me know who's your X factor, your top players in this series in the comment box below, wherever you're watching this video. Looking forward to NBA Finals, man. Game 1 is tonight. Let me know who y'all got winning this series as well. I'm going to do a video on it, but I think I'm rolling with Milwaukee in 6.